Hello, hello. I am back to help you do this thing called life. Of course, I've been praying for you, and I really want you to keep praying for me too, okay? Um, Tonight it's kind of like a spinoff of last night with an addition with a little more, I guess, clarification or instruction. Because sometimes when I'm talking, the Lord I'll begin to hear something or think about something, but it's not fully developed. And I think for a lot of this, it may not, it may lead into you meditating on a thing and allowing God to reveal to you what that message means to you, what He's trying to convey to you. Okay. But tonight, earlier tonight, before I was preparing for a meeting, I heard a word, and it had part of what we talked about yesterday, but it had some more. And the word that I heard was beware of distraction, distortion, and destruction. Beware of distraction, distortion, and destruction. And as I was hearing about being aware, it's also like be watchful, be alert. I even heard be active and engaged, because a lot of times those three things can happen when we are not fully engaged in what it is that we're supposed to be doing, when we're not fully focused on what it is that we're supposed to be doing. That's when distraction, distortion, and destruction can take place, can gain a foothold. One of the things that I also heard was that it is not always a bad thing that, well, I'll tell you that in a minute. I'll tell you that in a minute. Let me give you the definition of distraction. Distraction is a thing that prevents someone from giving their full attention to something else. So it's one thing that draws away the attention from something else. A surprising definition for me was that distraction is also extreme agitation of the mind or emotions. I always thought that that was a byproduct of distraction, but distraction in and of itself is extreme agitation of the mind or emotions. And so when I was thinking about it, what came to mind was like, even with distracted driving, it doesn't mean you're necessarily doing something bad. It could be as simple as you looking to make sure you're setting the right button on your cruise control, or you adjusting your rear view mirror, or turning the radio down. It could be something very simple, but a lot of times it's not that the thing is bad, it's the timing of the thing. So, like, it's normal to adjust your rear view mirror. But if you're adjusting your rear view mirror when the car in front of you is slamming on brakes and you don't see it, the timing throws everything off. If you are looking down to set your cruise control, you're on the interstate, you're looking down to make sure you're hitting the right button for the cruise control, and an accident has happened in front of you or something. So, like I said, it's not always bad. Now, distraction can be bad, but it's not always bad. But it is the timing that makes it thrown off. And then there are true horrible distractions. I just didn't, I know sometimes we think it's got to be something bad. No, sometimes it can be something good that's actually pulling your focus from where it needs to be at that time. Okay? And that, even while I was talking about that, it reminded me of evaluating whether something is a good thing or a God thing. Because a good thing can be a distraction in a season when God has another assignment for you. So, even in those distractions, make sure that it's God and not just good. Okay? Distortion. Distortion is the act of pulling or twisting out of shape. It is being given misleading or false account or impression of. being given a misleading or false account or impression of. And so with distortion, I see a rubber band and it's being pulled out of place. Its shape is being distorted. Um, that same thing can happen with a given situation, with a given circumstance. Someone can be telling you what it is and they're wrong. And it could be that they have a distorted view. It could be stretched out of proportion. You know how sometimes something can happen, two people see it. One related and it's like no big deal, and the other one tell it and it is a grand affair. But it's based on viewpoint. And even when it talks about the distortion being given misleading or a misleading or false account or impression of, somebody's lying or deceptive, you have to be careful of distortion. And then destruction. It is the act or process of causing so much damage to something that it no longer exists or cannot be repaired. The action or process of killing or being killed. It is a cause of someone's ruin. That's destruction. And if you remember yesterday, I was talking about how Satan comes, he seeks to kill, steal, kill, and destroy. There we go. The enemy seeks to kill, to steal, kill, and destroy. And I was saying how, there's certain things Satan can't destroy. But what I was reminded of is that he has the power of suggestion and he can cause you to destroy it. Now, there are times when the enemy can unleash an attack on your character through lies, and it may destroy your image, or but if it's a lie, it'll be you'll be redeemed. But what the enemy try in one way or the other, sometimes everybody doesn't know. I think it was I don't know if it was my pastor, and I don't know if he said, someone else said, like when a lie is released, it's like taking a pillow full of feathers and just opening it up and then trying to gather those back. But God is redemptive and he makes all things all right. We know all things work together, right? For good. But when it comes to destroying or that destruction, sometimes God has that hedge around you and he's given the enemy those, you can't go any further. You can't go any further. But let me tell y'all, we can do more destruction than the enemy ever can, because God will set up those boundaries with the enemy, but he gives us free will. And your free will could lead to your destruction. So don't allow the enemy to dangle that carrot and pull you into areas that's going to cause you to destroy what God has for you. So again, beware of distraction, distortion, and destruction. And as we were talking earlier, a sister said that what she heard was that we have the power to destroy, distract, and distort the enemy's message. So you don't have to accept everything the enemy throws your way. There is power in you to distract from that. Regain your focus. You distract from what the enemy's trying to do. Be distracted from that. You can destroy what the enemy's trying to do. You can distort. He can say it one way and you pull it in another way. So we have that ability to do that as well. And I hope I haven't muddied the water for you too much. I want you to please take some quiet time with God and ask him in your own life, in your own setting, in your own circle, What does that look like for you? When he says to beware of distraction, distortion, and destruction. Allow the Holy Spirit to speak to you and make this message relevant to your very life. Because if he's saying it, he wants us to get something out of it, okay? Well, y'all, this has been One More Minute with Marcy, and I will be back tomorrow with another moment of momentum producing motivation. Until then, stay encouraged. And remember, you got to flutter before you can fly. But flying is in your future. I love y'all.